Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I had a request to go over Berserker, and I think it was a pretty good request. I don't see a whole lot of people playing Berserker, just with the people that I've run into, you know, out in the zones, things like that. But I know it's a pretty popular class. I know, especially for white damage, obviously, the Berserker is not going to bring anything magical to the table. But I have played two different Berserkers, one of which was paired up with my solo self-found character, which was a bard and an SK. And I played this character, which I paired up with a cleric and a monk. Both of which I have thoroughly enjoyed. I just didn't get them to 65. You run into alt-itis, I guess you want to call it, where you just continuously move on from different character to different character. I kind of run into that sometimes, unfortunately, and just get a little over my head whenever it comes down to different characters. But this guy is sitting right at around 2200 AAs. He is level 59, and his damage is wild. Like, it really is. The frenzy is wild. Obviously mixed up with the monk, you're going to get the additional two-handed swings, things like that. I love the fact that even though he's a berserker and a monk with a cleric, he's wearing plate in a lot of the areas. I do have his epic. I believe that. Okay, so I'm using the Palladius. So I did have his epic, but I'm guessing the Palladius, just because of the healing, ended up rounding out to be better. But I thoroughly enjoyed Berserker. Seeing the huge numbers is wild, and then of course, you know, the flurries. But it's the cleaving blows that really do it for me. You know, whenever you're sitting there at the end of the fight and you get the creature down to 20-30% HP, and then all of a sudden you see a cleaving blow for 45,000 damage, and that right there it's like just straight dopamine. So if you haven't done that and you haven't played a Berserker, I definitely recommend giving it a shot, just to do it. Even if it's not something that you plan on doing, you know, long term or whatever it may be. It is extremely fun to see the massive damage go through. If you are going to do it, don't be a berserker with a wizard and an enchanter or something. You know, you're going to have some form of white damage built into it, or at least something that's going to supplement white damage. It's not like they have just like an array of talents. The berserker is going to be kind of a pull string go boom kind of character. They are not going to have the multiple utilities that you're going to find in like a bard, or, you know, maybe even a ranger, you know, to be honest with you. But what they do very well, and that is just absolutely pump out huge numbers. So I don't have one that's level 65. I don't have one that's max geared. I wish I did. I think I would have a better example of what it is. However, what I will say is that being level, I think my other one's level 60, this one's level 59. I think that this is probably one of the most heavy hitting DPS classes, maybe other than Rogue. I know Rogue pumps out those backstab damage later on. I know that cleave is not going to be all the time. I know that it's more of a kind of a random thing, whereas the backstabs are, you know, every set amount of time. But, and of course you can triple backstab, all that kind of stuff, but they're not going to also have the big huge two-handed numbers that this guy's going to have on his swings. So it probably evens out. I know EverQuest was pretty good typically about making sure that things were balanced on their melee classes, but again, I'm not 100% sure if anything's changed on this server specifically. I highly doubt that they did something to make things less balanced, because they seem to be very focused on balancing things out. But overall, I would definitely say Berserker brings a lot to the table, especially if you are interested in white damage. I think that pairing this guy up with a paladin would be absolutely crazy, because your rampage, which hits everything around you, would proc your slay undead, and that would be really fun to watch. Just instantly murdering a tremendous amount of undead creatures just based off of your slay undead would be really fun to do. Again, it's all about the dopamine hit. It's all about how much fun you have, and you know, if seeing big numbers and swinging a big sword or a big axe or whatever it may be is your thing, this is definitely for you. So let's talk a little bit about their AAs and of course what they bring with their AAs to the table for anything really, for other melee classes, and of course anything that you might want to build into it. So we'll go ahead. The archetype, you're going to get your basic combat fury, your double riposte, all those kind of things, finishing blade, all that kind of stuff. So we'll go over here to class real fast. And so battle frenzy is cleric, but battle leap is berserker. So this is just going to jump you into combat, gives you a 20% modifier to your attacks for 6 seconds. 20% whenever you're hitting for thousands is a lot. So that's a huge one that you can keep up. It's only got a minute respawn, or I'm sorry, respawn. Wow, refresh. So that one's good. Blinding Fury, you've got a ton of clickies that you can use, which also makes this this little class pretty fun to use. Blinding Fury, it increases your damage, but it also makes it to where you might just absolutely go blind. So as funny as that sounds, that's exactly what it does. So it's kind of cool. You know, you get the opportunity to increase your damage, but it blinds you. So Blood Pact, this is cool. Whenever you're low on damage or you're low on HP, it'll pump out more damage. What I've found on this server is that you either are at full life or you're getting absolutely wrecked. So I really haven't found an in-between a whole lot to where the Blood Pact has really helped me out a bunch. I'm sure that maybe later on with better gear and stuff, that'll make a huge difference. Blur of Axis. This does more damage to your frenzy. Your frenzy is going to be your bread and butter for damage. So frenzy's huge. You want this to be as high as possible. This should be one of your main focuses, but it doesn't add a tremendous amount to it. Only 400, but still 400 is good. Finishing blow here, you frenzy for 42,000. That's pretty crazy. Cascading Rage, another clicky, increases your melee abilities, but you will also take damage as you push yourself beyond your means. So pretty cool there. There's a lot of give and take, grab the sword to deflect the wound kind of thing here. But Cleaving Frenzy modifies your frenzy attacks to inflict significantly more damage whenever they critically hit. You're going to want to get all of these. Berserker is not one of those ones you're like, hey, I can get by with 5 AAs and I'll be good to go until the end game. No, you're going to need to get most of these AAs to really start crying through the battles and things like that. So Desperation, this is another Berserker one. Whenever you're on the desperate edge, the Berserker gets closer to death, they will attack faster. So this one will give you faster swings. Destructive Force, that's the monk. Echoing Cries, this will make your war cries better. War cries are great. They give you like additional damage, additional swing power, but they also work in a group. So if you were in a group with somebody in your guild or whatever else it is, that could be a benefit to everybody as well. Passive ability enhances your frenzy-based attacks, increasing their damage. Each rank increases the damage slightly. I think you start off with that, to be honest. I'm not sure that you need to get that one. Flurry is amazing. Flurry is going to give you a chance to swing even more. So paired up with a monk, you're just swinging for days with a very large two-handed weapon. Frenzied Volley, this is what I've been using right over on the Rage Volley, things like that. This is going to add an extra axe. So whenever you're tossing your axes at things, this will add an extra one to it. Just a little bit more damage. Not huge, but like I said, anything helps. You've got Precision of Axes. This will make it to where your accuracy is better with whenever you're throwing stuff. Rampage, this hits everything around you. This is what I was talking about when you're pairing that up with Slay Undead. That could be really cool. I haven't tried it yet. That would be something that I would actually really have fun trying. Maybe that's what I'll do in my solo self-found. Rapid Strikes is Monk. Savage Spirit is the Berserker. While this is active, the Berserker is filled by rage, causing his melee critical hits to land for massive damage. When the ability wears off, though, it drains a significant portion of the Berserker's life force. It's not significant. Especially whenever you're, siphoning HP back through procs or through weapons. It's not like you're going to have 1 HP after this or whatever else. It's definitely worth it, especially if you're paired up with like a cleric or whatever. You can get back on your feet in no time. So don't let that touch you out of using that. Throwing Mastery, just, throw weapons, more damage. Untamed Rage and Uncanny Resilience. This one is like a rune. Untamed Rage is another one where you're going to do a lot more damage. This one, I believe, has some negative effects to it. but the Berserkers defend. Okay, so your defense suffers, but you do more damage. And then, yeah, so that is going to be the kind of the arsenal of the Berserker there with AAs, but they also shine over here. As you can see, tremendous amount of your combat abilities. A lot of these are also from the monk, but you're going to have battle focus, blind rage, I can't remember. Okay, battle cry of Dravel, reckless discipline. I believe that this one is a riposte. So pairing this up with a monk, you've got two different riposte disciplines as well. Voidance, cleaving rage. Cleaving rage is awesome. Makes everything you do a critical hit. Whirlwind, another riposte. Inspired anger, you can't ever miss. Rage volley, that's what I'm using right here. This just throws a bunch of axes at something. It's pretty cool. But yeah, there's a ton of disciplines as well. I think the disciplines could use a little tweaking on their recast time on some of these, just because the server is built different. It's not like you're having to you don't have 15-minute fights here, to be honest. So like having a 15-minute recast timer on that stuff didn't matter on live, whenever there was such a large amount of time in between moving from mob to mob, going to the bosses, things like that. Here you can thrash through everything, you know, before you even realize that you did it, and then you get to the boss and you're like, oh well, now I'm still 12 minutes away from being able to use that again. So if you're a class that needs that stuff, well, looks like you're going AFK. You're gonna go watch whatever you watch on TV or whatever people do. But I think that the Berserker is fun. I think it adds a lot of fun utility. As far as damage goes, there's a lot of different ways to pump out a lot of damage. It does have a lot of burn potential if you are just wanting to burn the heck out of a creature, but it also has some sustain potential as well, with all of the different AAs and all of the different combat abilities it's going to have here as well, the disciplines. So it really just depends on what you're doing and what you're looking to play. Like there, right there, I just got a frenzy for 29,000. Not even a critical, just an absolute just slap right in the face like they owed me money. So that's always a great feeling whenever you just go up and just start just slaughtering, you know, some crazy named creature. And again, I'm not maxed out level 65 with all the crazy gear. I literally only have like 9k HP and I'm level 59. So this guy is not one of my my more uber characters, I guess you want to call it. And even those don't have the augs they need. But I honestly, I really do feel like Berserker would be fun. I think it's going to be a niche character for someone that's just going to really want to do white damage. I know that there are those that exist on the server. A lot of people have kind of moved away from white damage for a while because it was just so underwhelming in comparison to, you know, obviously spell damage and all the rest of that stuff. White damage kind of took a back seat to a lot of that, but I think they're kind of turning around on it. They did the heroic strength thing, and then of course they debuffed that a bit, but which I'm not really sure why. I thought that it was pretty balanced there, but again, I'm not looking at all the numbers on the back screens and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, for white damage wise, this guy is great. I really do like him. He's got a lot of utility when it comes down to just straight up damage, like I said. And then pairing him up with something like a cleric or something that actually has some ability to keep him alive is also great. So it really just depends on what you're looking to get out of the character. Also, don't pick a Berserker if you're going to be like, oh, I want to dual wield. Or so, you know, like obviously make it make sense. Like, I don't think Berserker is going to be for you if you're wanting to go out there and dual wield or whatever. Like a Berserker and a Rogue, realistically, may not make a whole lot of sense because the Rogue is going to need to have a dagger on to do his full damage for backstab. Well, Berserker is going to want to have two-handers on to do his full damage with Frenzy and Cleave. So it just really depends on the class setup as well. I don't think that Berserker is going to be for everything. Like, I did a video yesterday about Bard. Bard is good with everything. I really honestly feel like Bard can literally supplement almost every trio. Zerker, I don't think you're going to have that. I don't think you're going to be able to put Zerker with certain trios just because they're not going to mesh well. And I mean, it's not like that's a big deal. Just, I guess it just kind of is what it is. You don't want to put a Zerker in those situations because it's not going to add anything to that trio at all. But But yeah, I really like Berserker. I like I think it does have the coolest looking epic by far, like absolutely the coolest looking epic. Huge giant like Telosian axe looking thing is awesome. So we're gonna try our hand at Inner Rook over here in a second. I'm noticing that I took a lot of damage there on pulling those guys, so we'll have to check this out and kind of see. It's been a while since I have fought a boss on this guy, so we'll find out real quick if this is going to be a problem or not. I really wish that you could decap on this one, because on live Berserker got a skill called Decapitation, which was much like Slay Undead, like very much like Slay Undead, and except for it was for like everything, and it was really awesome. You would see a lot of Berserkers using that to power level characters and, you know, do AAs and things like that on live, which was really cool because it gave Berserker you know, another little leg up on, you know, some of the other DPS classes, because you were having Rangers do their like multiple headshots with their barrage. You were having all the other stuff. So having Berserker have that ability was kind of cool. You know, I don't think I've fought this guy yet. See, I think I just blinded myself. Blind Rage. Yeah, I blinded myself with Blind Rage. But I don't think I've fought that guy and not had to, like, I had to debuff him from his damage shield. But this guy with a two-handed weapon, you don't have to. See, I was sitting there at like 20. He was at like 20%, and then boom, 31,000 and a bunch of extra crit hits. Just really put him down. So, I mean, like I said, level 59. I do have quite a bit of AAs, not gonna lie there, but I don't have the best gear at all. So it would be hard for me to say that, you know, a lot of other players, you know, maybe can come in here and just rock out Inner Rook. I know Inner Rook was pretty hard in the beginning for me, so. But yeah, I honestly, I really like Berserker. I think that you would really, you know, enjoy it, especially if you're looking to do just tons of damage, like 18,000 hits for, you know, without even any kind of crits at level 59. So, but yeah, that's my my little quick class review on Berserker. I think it would fit really well with any white damage, to be honest. So if you like this and you want to see more, put in the comments what you want to see next, and we'll make it happen. You guys have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.